All right, great. Okay, so, well, welcome to our last call of 2013. So, you guys, I'm so excited to be sharing this concept with you guys. So, before we get started, I don't know if there's anybody here on the phone who's been on the call, who hasn't been on our calls. But if you haven't been, welcome. And today's going to be a really exciting call, especially because it is the last call of the year. And for the next 30 minutes, what I'm going to do is we're going to go over exactly like what do you need to do to set yourself up to make sure that this year, these New Year resolutions that we have a tendency to put in place. And I don't know about you guys, but I know if there's many New Year resolutions and many years that I put out an intention and said, this is what I want to accomplish this year. And then here comes December and none of those things were, or some of those things were not accomplished. So I'm going to share with you guys this concept that I learned this year that I think would be, or I know for those who apply it, will be something that will really help you stay on track. So what we're going to do is the first thing, you want to grab a piece of paper and a pencil. We're going to take some notes here. And the first thing we want to do is start number one. So this is going to be like a little workshop, and I'm getting straight to the point specifically because we have a lot to cover. Last night on the Spanish call, I was like rushing because I didn't realize how much there is to say about this particular tool that I'm going to train you guys. So just to give you a recap as far as like what we've been doing for the last several months, and it's all going to compress into today's exercise. And that is for the first 6 weeks, we really started to establish and started to look at what does it take to live, to start developing yourself as a leader. And within that, we started talking about different things that we have to put in place, something as simple as making your bed every day, right? Like those small disciplines that will definitely structure not only your day, but structure your character. And we talked about the fact that for those of you who weren't on the call, you want to take a note of this, and that is we really started to identify through all the homework that I gave you guys throughout those 6 weeks. Many of you started to identify that how you are in one area of your life, you are in all the areas of your life. And, it's no surprise that when you're like in the zone, everything seems to like flow. And when things are not going well, everything seems to like kind of like tumble. The reason being is because that is the place that you are in. So the first thing that we started to look at the first 6 weeks was, where am I? What are those thoughts? What are those voices? What are those limiting beliefs that really stop me? Or what are those things that I perhaps wasn't aware of that I constantly say to myself? So for the first 6 weeks was all about self-awareness and all about what does it mean to really look in and to be conscious of everything that we do, say, and think. And while it might sound like a lot, all we have to do is be aware, be conscious at every moment of as much as we possibly can, right, throughout the day. So for the first 6 weeks, that's what we did. And now it was like building the muscle of what you're going to put into practice today. Then the second 6 weeks, we really talked about the leadership and what does it mean now that you have a lot of self-awareness, now that you can recognize your voice and your limiting beliefs and your thoughts and all these things that serve you and all these things that don't serve you. Now that you are aware of those things, now what do we do with them? And the second 6 weeks, what we talked about was what are the characteristics of a leader? And we defined the 5 levels of leadership and started to look at how do I show up as a leader in all the areas of my life? How do I show up as a leader with my family, with my friends, with my distributors, with my customers, with my kids, with my wife? How much influence do I have in all those areas? And through that process, we started to identify not only like what kind of level of leadership we had, but how we started giving you tools on how to increase that level of leadership. So that was the next 6 weeks. Then we kind of started talking a little bit about manifesting the last few weeks, and I apologize that last week and the week before I think I was in Vegas. We got on the phone, but last week I know especially with the Christmas and all that, we didn't have a call, so my sincere apologies for that. But so let's get started. We're going to compress those 12 weeks and now put them into practice to project what you want for 2014. So if you don't have a piece of paper and a pencil, I really recommend that you get one because you're going to want to write all this down. I'm going to give you not only a tool that you want to implement, but I'm also going to give you my email address because I want you guys to email me something like, "Hi, Karla," and I'm going to email you back a graph and a free application that you can download and up until today, because afterwards it's going to be $99 this application, a free application that you can download that can help you with this tool that I really, really feel that can definitely help you stay on track for 2014 in all the areas of your life. So that's great. So the first thing we want to do is, number one, we want to start looking at, and I'm going to encourage you to start looking at, what do you want for 2014? Like, what is it that you want to accomplish? And rather than thinking like, oh, what is a resolution, I want you to look at it like, what are my commitments? So for those of you who just got on the phone, grab a piece of paper and a pencil, because you want to get this information down. And the first thing you want to do is start writing, what do you want for 2014? And most people, when they have a tendency to write these things down, they write them like a list, which is fine, okay? But I'm really going to invite you to give it some thought, give it some depth. Don't just write like, I want to lose 10 pounds. Like, really write down, like, I want to lose 10 pounds, and then put an emotion behind it. So if you have a piece of paper and a pencil, not only do you want to say, but the first thing you want to do is you want to start writing down what you want, and you want to write down what will you get by this when you do this, or when you have this. Like, what will you get? What emotion, what feeling will you get when you have this? Because it is only emotions that are going to propel you to get into action, okay? So the first thing you want to do is you want to look at, what do you want out of your 2014, and what will you get from each thing? Now, once you do that, what I'm going to recommend that you do is to really look at, and this tool that I'm going to give you right now is going to help you structure your life in a way where you can be fulfilled and well-balanced, because at least I'll speak for myself. I know that when I was really, focused with my business, and I was 23 years old, I hit a point in my career that was really, really great. And I honestly thought that when I got to Millionaire Team, like the clouds were going to part and the sun was going to beam through and light was going to come over me. I was going to be happy and everything was going to be great. And I'm not ashamed to tell you that that's not the way it went. And I think for any of us who have accomplished that you really were like pushing to get, and when you got it, if you didn't have like a good structure behind it, or good motivation, or good, a good plan, personal plan, if that's all you did for X amount of months and then you got there, at least for me, I found that I had neglected all the other areas of my life. I didn't have time for my family. I didn't have time for my significant other. I didn't have time for my friends. They would call me and I'm like, I'm busy. That was like my thing, right? I wouldn't even say bye. I would just hang up. And so at the end of the quote unquote magical moment, I found myself like, really? Like, this is it? Because I was so empty inside. And that was because I was neglecting the other areas of my life. Now, I've also gone to the other extreme, I'm not ashamed to say, where I have, totally focused on my interior and then neglected my business. So it's like I do my business and I neglect everything else. I do this and I neglect my business. I do my body and I neglect my relationships. I do my relationships and I neglect my body. It's like one or the other, right? And so I was sharing with these, last week or 2 weeks ago when I was in Vegas, I don't know if I told you guys that I was at this event called the Next Level Experience. And I had an opportunity to meet this gentleman, and which is the application I'm going to send you guys via email. And what he told me really, really, really like hit me. And that was, Karla, you're so used to getting up to bat and like hitting this home run. Like every time you go to bat, you want to hit a home run. I'm like, yeah. He's like, and if you think you can't hit a home run, you probably won't even go to bat. I started laughing. I'm like, yeah, right? Because if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it all the way. And so he told me, he goes, what if you can really wrap your mind around this concept, and that is, rather than getting up to bat and like hitting a home run, what if you go up to bat and just hit a single? And now you've got one person on first base. And then you hit another single. Now you've got one on first and on second. Then you hit another single. Now you got one on first, on second, on third. Not every time you hit, only a single, run, hit, another single, run, hit. And every time you hit a single, you score. And I looked at him and I'm like, holy cow, I never thought about that. He's like, yeah, because your personality is so extreme and so like all or nothing that, you focus on one area and you drop the ball in others. I'm like, yes. He goes, what if you could push all the areas of your life equally that are important to you, equally, like just a little bit at a time? It's going to take the same amount of effort that it would take for hitting one home run for you to put it all your energy on one area of your life, what if you were to invest just that a little bit at every area of your life and push them all together? It's going to be the same amount of work, but you're going to have a balanced life. And that's what I'm about to show you how to do. So grab a piece of paper and a pencil, and this is what he explained to me. You want to draw a box, and you want to, inside the box, you want to split it in 4. So put like a T in the box, so now you've got 4 quadrants, okay? So what you're going to do is it's called Core 4. What you're going to do on the right-hand side, okay, you want to put enough space because you're going to give it a title and 2 words inside each box. So the first box, you're going to title it Body, which is the top left, you're going to title it Body. Top right, you're going to title it Soul. Bottom right, you're going to title it Balanced Relationships. Bottom left, you're going to title it Business. So let's go over this. So to the top left, okay, we're going to talk about, these are the 4 areas that you're going to focus on, and that I'm recommending that you focus on, and you can replace them if you wish, but I think this will pretty much cover everything. And the first top left is your body, and you're going to, inside of that, you're going to put fitness/food, and or nutrition, whatever you want to title it, okay? So here's the concept. You're going to do one little thing every single day and give yourself a point. So what happens is, rather than thinking like, okay, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, and then 5 months later you're still the same weight, because it is what you do every single day that will determine whether or not you stay on track with your goals. So this concept of Core 4 is really going to allow you not only to do a little bit at a time, but also for you to have a measurable way and a fun measurable way to seeing if you're on track. And here's the thing. You got to remember one thing. Results are only feedback, okay? The results are only feedback as far as what you're doing or what you're not doing, okay? So this is going to be a way for you to have feedback on a daily basis before time goes on, and then you go, oh my gosh, I wish I would have, could have, right? So here's the idea. So for the body, every day you're going to do this, okay? And you're going to score every day that you work out under fitness. Every day that you work out, you're going to give yourself a half of a point, so right, 0.5. And for every day, and you're going to decide what that workout is for you, whatever that standard is for you, whether it's like fitness, yoga, or whatever it is, okay? Running, whatever it is that you do, you're going to put 0.5 if you work out that day. Then the other side, which is food or / nutrition, every day you're going to give yourself a half of a point if you stick to your nutritional plan. Now, what does that mean? That means whatever you decide. If you're wanting to lose weight, then so put together a meal plan. That means that you're going to lose weight. If you just want to like be healthier, you're going to say, I just want to, take a shake in the morning and just, so for every morning that I drink a shake, maybe that will be your starting ground, right? For this week, my goal is to drink a shake every morning. And for every morning that you do, you're going to give yourself a half of a point. So whatever that definition is for you as far as your nutritional plan, when you stick to it, you're going to give yourself a half of a point for a total of 1. Okay, so that is the first part. So in other words, if you work out, you get a half a point. If you stick to your nutritional program, you get another half a point. And what I mean by sticking to your nutritional program, you define what that is. If it's 2 shakes, 1 meal, that's your plan, great. If it's just 1 shake and healthy food, great. If it's just drinking a shake, regardless of what you eat that day, and your goal this week or this month is to just make sure you drink your shake every single morning with your tablets, if that's your goal, then that's a half a point. You can always change the requirements for these points as you go, but every week you're going to have like a goal for the week. What is my goal for fitness? What is my goal for food? When you do that, half a point for fitness, half a point for food, for a total of 1. Now if you go to the top right, now we're talking about your spirit. And here's what I do that. This last year, if there's one thing that I did do on my New Year resolution, because there was a lot of things that I didn't do, but the one thing that I did do is I really focused on myself, like really look at myself, like what's important to me, what do I want, and really started looking within. And one of the things that I did was that I became closer to God. I've always been a religious person, but never practiced, like it's one of those things. And there were many Sundays that I went to church this year. And in addition, I joined a Bible class for I think it was 40 days, every day for 30 minutes. We had this Bible class over the phone. So it was really amazing how much my life changed just by really feeding my soul and really feeding that spiritual side of me. Now, maybe you're not religious. Maybe for you it's more like a spiritual thing. Maybe it's just meditation, whatever it is. But we're going to do something every single day to feed that part of you and that is your spirit, okay? So here's what we're going to write down under spirit. You're going to put, under soul, you're going to put meditation/study. Now, what does that mean? Okay, for those of you who know how to meditate or want to start meditating, which I highly recommend, is that for every morning or every day that you meditate, you're going to get a half a point. Now, meditation to you could be different things. It could be a prayer. It could be, doing a mantra of some sort. Or it could be like sitting down, closing your eyes, and quieting your mind for 5 minutes. A minimum, if you're going to meditate, it's got to be a minimum of 5 minutes. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you don't know how to shut that voice in your head, 5 minutes can seem like an eternity, okay? Or for me, I ended up falling asleep, so I needed to put an alarm on my phone every time I meditate for a little at the beginning because I kept knocking out. So, I kept coming unconscious. So, but anyhow, the point here is you're going to meditate every single day, some way, some sort, whether it's a prayer or just closing your eyes and just breathing and connecting with God or spirit or the higher source, whoever you believe in. And one of the things that you're going to do during this period, and I'm going to highly recommend with time, if you can do it right away, great. And that is when you're meditating, visualize what you want out of your life, out of your day. Okay, then the second part is study. Now, this study could be different things. You can either study some kind of religious book, like the Bible, or whatever it is that you can read, but you study whatever it is that you believe in. If that's not your thing, then you're going to study, meaning you're going to study your life. And what that would look like is journaling every day, even if it's just for 5 minutes, okay? So you're going to meditate where you're going to just quiet your mind and journal, maybe before you go to bed, everything you're grateful for, or journal what you want, what that day was like. Journal something. The point here is to really get you to look within and to study life, whether it's through religion or through studying yourself through a journal. So that's the second part, which is the soul part. So you get a half a point for meditating, a half a point for studying something, whether it's a book or a Bible or yourself, okay, for a total of 1 point. So that right there, you have a total of 2 so far. The third part of it, which is a relationship, balanced relationship, and that is you're going to pick, underneath it, you're going to put number 1/number 2. You're going to pick 2 relationships that are of importance to you. And this is really important because one of the things that I do know, and I'm sure all of us have experienced it in some way or some moment in our lives, and that is when we get super clear and super focused on something, many times the people that suffer the most are the ones we love the most. And the reason being is because you have this comfort level with them that they will forgive you for just about anything. And so many times, rather than appreciating that, we take advantage of that. And I'm guilty of that, okay? So one of the things that we're going to encourage you to do is that every single day you pick 2 relationships. Let's just say it's your significant other and your kids, as an example. Or it could be your mom and your brother or your sister, your mom and your dad. Whatever relationship you want to nurture and whatever relationship you want to enhance and make better, you're going to pick. And again, you can change it whenever you want. But what you're going to do is you're going to do something every day to nurture those 2 relationships. It could be something as simple as sending a simple text like, hey, I just want to tell you how much you mean to me. And you're going to do something every day to nurture those 2 relationships. It could be, this particular person who showed this tool to me was telling me that he has 2 girls. And the girls are like, Dad, Dad, Dad. And he's like, what? Right? And what he got committed to every day doing is that rather than when you're driving your kids to school, rather than yelling and screaming at them to hurry up and get in the car and get out and run to class, to actually take, his daughter can only hold it for 13 seconds. But to actually take a minute or 30 seconds to look inside your child or your loved one's eyes and just be like, listen, you have a wonderful day, take care of yourself, and I'll pick you up at 3, whatever the case may be. But the point here is to really look at how do you want to nurture those 2 relationships, and you pick. And it could be different. It could be a Facebook message. It can be a text message. It can be just looking in your eyes. It could be sending a little card. It could be putting little notes in your kid's lunchbox or putting little notes in your husband's or your wife's, purse. Whatever you do, but do something every single day to nurture those relationships. And it doesn't mean you have to do something big. Actually, at least I'll speak for women. I think men are the same. It's those small details that create the drama, right? So that is the second part. So if you nurture the first relationship, you get a half a point. You nurture the second relationship, you get another half a point for a total of 1 point. Now, the last part in the last quadrant is the business. Now, we kept this last, not by like, like by accident. It's totally on purpose. And the reason being is because a lot of the times when all these areas of your life are fulfilled and in order, your business will flourish, will bloom, and just take off more than you can even imagine. Okay? So, sorry. And so one of the things that you're going to do here is you're going to focus on your area of your business in two areas. The first one, you're going to put study, and the second one, you put /action. Okay? So here's what you're going to do for your business. You're going to have a half a point every day that you study something that will help you with your business. It could be personal development. You can choose, okay, this week I'm going to focus on personal development as my study. Or it could be, you know what, I'm really not that knowledgeable about the product, so every day for this week, I'm going to dedicate 15 minutes to review products, video, online, HBN, whatever you select that defines study for you for that week, okay, or that month, however long you want to do it for. So every time you actually study something to improve your business, maybe you're going to study something to how to improve your marketing, how to improve your social media, whatever it is, you're going to score a half a point. The other part is action, and that is you're going to define what action is for you, okay, to get that point. And that is, what are you doing? What are you wanting? What are you committed to doing every single day that will allow you to score a half a point? Now, I'm going to encourage you to not go crazy and be like, I'm going to qualify a supervisor every day. Is that possible? Absolutely. Okay, and if that's something you want to do as measurable results, great. But what if you started like, okay, I'm going to talk to 5 people today every day about the product, 5 people about the business, whether it's like in face-to-face, 5 contacts on Facebook, something, whatever you define that to be. And I encourage you to pick 2 or 3 things, okay? And I'm going to follow up with my customers or follow up with 2 people every single day, whatever it is. You're going to define those measurable results. And when you do them, when you accomplish them, you're going to get a half a point. So in other words, a half a point for studying something that's going to improve your business, half a point for studying something that's going to generate action, for a total of 1 point. So when you do this, you have a possibility of 4 points. Half a point for everything, 1 point on each section, for a total of 4. And that's why it's called Core 4, okay? So this website this application that I'm telling you about, it's free, and you can download it, and you can actually input, like, oh, I scored a half a point. It will say, okay, today you scored, 3 points. Today you scored 3.5 for a total of the week of whatever, right? And so you're going to be able to play this game with yourself to see how you're doing. So if you have a piece of paper and a pencil, I'm going to give you my email address. I want you to just shoot me an email, or you can text me at my phone, hey, Karla, here's my email. Okay, whatever the case may be. But my email is Karla, S as in Sam, C as in cat, 2000 @gmail.com. Again, it's Karla, SC, 2000 @gmail.com. And or you can send me a text back and just give me your email address, and I'll send you a picture of what I did on my whiteboard. I actually put up a diagram where it has Monday through Sunday on the left, and on the top it has all the 4 sections, and I'm scoring these points. Like yesterday, for example, I scored a total of 3. Okay, so it sounds like it's super easy, but if this guy, this Wake Up Warrior team, I don't know how many he has in his challenge. Only 1 person scored a perfect score, I think, all month or something like that. So he got like a T-shirt. But it's a lot more challenging than we think. To really do a little bit in all the areas of your life takes as much effort as just doing, like I said in the beginning of the call, doing a home run all the time. So now the number 1 thing you want to do is write down what it is that you want, put emotion behind it. Number 2, you have this Core 4 concept, Core 4 idea. And I encourage you that if you didn't look at other areas of your life as your goals for 2014 after you do this Core 4, go back and add something. Because I'm telling you, there's no success that's worth having if you're not happy and fulfilled within yourself. So that's the second thing. That's the second thing, the Core 4. The third thing we're going to do is I'm going to recommend that you ask yourself 2 questions. So again, this is all setting you up to make sure that 2014 you follow through with your commitments or your resolutions, whatever you want to call them. And that is, you're going to ask yourself 2 questions after you write down your list of your or your concepts of your resolutions and what you're going to get when you have all these things. and you have this core four concept, I wanted you to sit down. I want you to go somewhere by yourself, and I want you to actually do this all this somewhere quiet for like at least 30 minutes. Dedicate some time to project the next year, and that is, and ask yourself two things. The first thing is, okay, looking at your goals, look at them and then ask yourself, and look within, maybe meditate, ground your feet on the floor, and just quiet the mind and ask yourself, what will hold me back from accomplishing these goals? Like, what will prevent me from accomplishing these goals? So write that question down. Number one is, what will prevent me from accomplishing these goals? Or what would stop me? Or what would get in the way of me accomplishing these goals? And if you just, at first, your head's going to give you the logical answers, but if you keep writing and writing and writing, eventually your soul, your heart, your essence, your internal God, whoever you want to call that spirit, that soul inside of you, it will eventually start speaking to you. And you'll start hearing and start recognizing what are those things that will prevent you from really accomplishing these goals, okay? Then, once you do that and write it all down, it might be that you want to be out of debt as an example, right? Maybe that was one of your resolutions. And all of a sudden you start thinking, what will prevent me? And then you realize that maybe, I don't know, your kids, your dog, your husband, your wife, somebody, is constantly asking you to borrow money. So one of the things that might prevent you from accomplishing the goal is, people constantly thinking, I'm an ATM. And or like, oh, you know what? My parents constantly asking me for $1 every day, or my kids asking me for $1 every day. Like, I'm feeling guilty about not giving them whatever it is. Or it could be like, for me, I'll give you mine. For me, it was like the first, after I contemplated this, my head told me it's one thing, but then I kept thinking and kept feeling, and I was like, me. What's going to prevent from me accomplishing these things is me. And it's my limiting belief that I'm not enough, that I can't have it all, that I can't do it. Who am I to have a perfect life? I mean, there's no such thing as perfect, but you know what I mean. And all these voices in my head just would not shut up. That's what will stop me. That's what would stop me. So now that I can acknowledge that, now that I can recognize, now that you know that it's your kid that's asking you for $5 every day, now you're aware. So rather than just like, okay, fine, here's $5, go away. Maybe you can have a conversation with them and say, listen, you know what, Mommy's got a goal this year, and this is what we're going to do, and, whatever it is that you're going to, now when that thing or that whatever is going to prevent you from accomplishing your goals, you can now recognize it and choose to let it hold on to you, or you hold on to it. So it controls you or you control it. So now whenever my voices come in, I'm like, all right, thank you for sharing, goodbye, okay? Not now, right? Whatever the case may be. The second question you're going to ask yourself is, what do I need to put in place to make sure that these goals are accomplished? What do I need to put in place to make sure that these goals are accomplished? So I can share with you, for me, right? So when I saw that, I was like, okay, what do I need to put in place? If I saw all my goals, I'm like, okay, number one, the first thing I got to do is I surround myself with people that hold themselves to this kind of standard. Because if I want to get my fitness like to a level 10, I can't be hanging out with people that eat Jack in the Box every day. Right? So I need to hold myself up, and like being in Vegas around these people that are playing a big game made me want to play a big game. So for me, one of the things I know for myself for 2014, number one, I got to surround myself with people that play at higher standard. The second thing that I got to put in place is find a coach, somebody, something that will hold me accountable to these goals, that will love me, but a strong coach that will hold me accountable. Right? And I already have like one for my fitness, hopefully, and I have one for my soul and relationships, right? And now I'm looking for one for my business. So I've, having people that I can count on that can push me, because that's just the way I work. Like if you're telling me like, come on, Karla, you can do it, it's great. But if I have somebody who like really is like hard with me, that works for me. Now, some people need love and, oh, I believe in you, and then they do it, right? Everybody's different, whatever it is for you, right? I'm just giving you ideas for me. The third thing I said was, okay, I need to read these goals every single day. I actually wrote like a whole paragraph or 3 paragraphs of my year 2014. I didn't make it into a list, because to me, I don't work like that. I have to like give it a flow, a story, and then I'm going to have this and this and then this, and I'm like I live it, right? Instead of just making a list. So I committed to reading those goals every single day, okay, whether it's in the morning or at night, but every day I'm going to read those goals. The ideal thing is to do it twice a day, but minimum once a day. And the fourth thing that I put on my list that will make sure that I accomplish these goals is to start a morning ritual. Now, for those of you who went to Santa Clara, you got to see Raul do the morning ritual. For those of you who did it, maybe we can find a way of giving you, because we actually recorded it, maybe giving you a copy of the DVD so you can watch it, because there is power in how you start your day, okay? So those are the 4 things that I put in place to make sure that I accomplish my goals. So I know we're on top of the hour here, so I want to make sure that, I finish the call on time, but I'm going to open the call in a few minutes. But what I want to do is just recap. First things first, right? Write down exactly what it is that you want, put in motion behind it. Put together this core 4 concepts, and if you email me or text me, I will send you a picture of what I put up on my whiteboard that you can copy if you wish, and I'll send you the link for you to download the application. Up until today, it's free. Tomorrow, it's $99, so you want to make sure you get it. And the third thing is write those 2 questions. Answer those 2 questions. What will prevent me from accomplishing my goals, and what do I need to put in place to make sure that I accomplish my goals? So with that said, I'm going to open the lines in a little bit and finish the recording, but I just want to tell you guys, it's been an awesome few months, having these calls with you guys. I know I've learned a lot. Hopefully you have too. And, we have these calls on replay, and I still have to figure out how to be able to, maybe upload them to a website or something so you guys can have them. But the point here is this, and that is it all starts with being conscious, being self-aware, and from that, anything is possible. So with that said, thank you so much. Love you guys, and have a wonderful new year. So, okay, in a second with it.